Tony here. I made this video a few weeks ago but didn't get around to uploading it onto YouTube, and since then I've made some progress on it. So instead of making yet another video, I thought I would just splice in here and there a few images and explanations of the further progress. It may end up coming out a little bit disjointed. I hope you'll be patient with me. I think you will still find it very informative. Also, I wanted to mention this video has got part 3 in the title, but I have taken part 2 down because there were some technical problems that I just couldn't deal with trying to fix. That video covered the design of the roof. So if that's of interest to any of you, leave me a comment and let me know, and I will rework that video and put it up again. So without further ado, here we go. Greetings, friends. This is Tony from Historic American Homes, and this is the third episode in this update on this design of a Victorian-inspired farmhouse. In the first episode, I discussed a number of the exterior details that I was needing to resolve. Those are all resolved and in this model, which we will look at. In the second episode, I talked a bit about how I used Sketchup and the process for developing the roof, and because it was a rather complicated roof. And so I showed that in the second episode. And now in the third, I'm going to just start with this, just under a minute of this video, where you can see the entire exterior, basically all the details finished. The only thing I have not put in at this point are downspouts, but I know where they're going to go. Anyway, we'll look at the exterior, and then I'll show you a few views of the interior, which is still in progress, and tell you about the next steps. So I'll just let this run, no commentary. Well, that gives you a pretty good idea of the outside. Let me minimize this, and we'll look at a few photos from the inside. This is standing in that turret corner in the living room on the ground floor, looking through the space to the back. We have the dining room in the middle, and then beyond it the family room with a French door leading out into the garden. This is in the family room, looking towards the kitchen, and on our left is that same French door that we saw at the end of the vista in the previous image. We have the kitchen. There's a door now, and when I made this image, I hadn't yet put this door in, but this is the door to the garage, and on the right is a cabinet with a microwave and oven. And then through the opening here, we can see a bit of the furniture of the dining room. Here's a little elevated view to sort of show the kitchen layout a little better. Windows in front of the sink. I'm going to do a little more work in the kitchen area, but I basically got everything I need in it and everything where I want it. With the cooktop on this peninsula, I needed a proper vent above the cooktop, so it'll be hung from the ceiling. They also make vents that pop up from behind cooktop. I have found those to be very expensive and not generally as effective, so I don't generally use them in my designs. And here's a view from the kitchen looking back towards the sitting area in the family room. We have a gas fireplace in the middle, which would actually serve nicely to warm the room, although that's not the main source of heat. This panel above it is arranged as a set of bifold doors, and the space can accommodate a 47-inch screen? Anyway, a decent sized TV screen if a person wanted to use it for that reason. There's the possibility of built-in bookcases on either or both sides. Alternatively, a TV could go into one of the side bookcases. And here's the view from the family room patio door looking back in the direction of the living room where we started. Here's one of those edits I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I've done further work in the interiors. So I've done trim, interior finishes, and so forth. So here's a quick video walkthrough of the ground floor showing that updated work. And this is a picture of the master bedroom, which is on the upper floor of that same corner with the turret. Enough space for two people to comfortably hang out. Bed here, dresser. And now will take us to the floor plans, and you'll be able to see this in the floor plans. Edit. Before we go there, here's a brief look at the updated master bedroom. Here we have the ground floor. The entry side is at the bottom of the page. So we've got an entrance via this porch that wraps around. To our left is a living room. I've just suggested furniture layouts. My purpose here is not to do a full interior design, but simply to show that the rooms are designed such that that there are good furniture layouts possible. And preferably, I like to design spaces so that you have many ways to arrange furniture. So, like I said, this is not intended as an interior design project. This is architectural. To the right, we have coats and a water closet. Straight ahead, there's stairs going up. Here on the left, we see the suite of living room, dining room, family room, kitchen, out to the backyard, all connected, and the garage at the right. The garage is designed such that you could approach it from either the bottom of the page or from the right side or from the back, depending on the site that you have available. This is the upper floor. We've got the stairs coming up to a decent sized landing. There will be a skylight to bring a little light into that landing area. I've made some small changes since we looked at it last. The main change is that this piece where I'm circling the mouse did not exist before. It was porch roof from the ground floor. But I decided that it was making a very awkward transition. I'll show that in the model. In fact, I'll just jump over to that right now. Let's get the model, bring the model up. Work our way around. So what we had before was that on the ground floor we have the kitchen extending out to this corner right here, but the upper floor set back. In fact, you can see a little remnant of the line of it there, set back 4 feet. And then this porch roof continued up, and this garage bonus room roof continued over, and it made a very awkward intersection of roof lines that I wasn't happy with. So then I got the idea one way to resolve that was to let the bedroom extend out another 4 feet without concern about the roof line getting low. It's only at about 5 feet at the eave there in the inside. But the advantage of it being that, turn the roof off here so you can see in. That space can serve nicely as a small walk-in closet, a decent walk-in closet for a second bedroom. The space inside is 3.5 feet across, and in the long dimension, it's 7.5 feet. So that's something that I added, and originally this was the walk-in closet for this bedroom. So having this closet here, I decided to move the door opening for this closet at the top of the stairs and put the door opening onto the landing rather than into the bedroom, and then this could serve as other storage, other household storage, rather than just be for the bedroom. So back to the floor plan again, that was these spaces here. So that was a change I made since we looked at it last. On the upper left, we have another bedroom, no change. We've got bathroom, we've got washer, dryer, and linen storage, and there would be space above the washer and dryer to do an on-demand water heater, which would serve these two bedrooms. The kitchen hot water would be able to have its own the smallest type of on-demand hot water heater would work in the kitchen because the other appliances in the kitchen, such as dishwasher that require hot water, heat their own. Top of the stairs, landing, and then a turn. At the landing, you can step to the right, and that would be the bonus room over the garage. And I will mention one other thing about that. We'll go back to our model. In the earlier videos, I talked about the pattern of windows and how I wanted to use an arched window in this dormer here to echo the arched windows of the turret, and how I was considering using the arched window at the end wall of the bonus room. I did that, and I'm very happy with the results. I made a special effort in working these windows out to pay real attention to the way the trim of the windows came together, and I think that helps to make it work nicely. As three separate window units, they will be trimmed out to appear as a single composition. So what I've done here is I've taken my typical trim, which we can see on the left here, typical trim profile that I've used, which is a slightly more ornate profile than is found on simpler houses, but it's not a full-blown Victorian elaborate profile. It's got a beaded edge and a line of reading at the corner here. And instead of wrapping each window opening separately with that, I've carried the beaded edge around the perimeter and not brought it down between the windows. And then I've taken this reeded corner and I've outlined the windows with the reeded corners. So I think it's a nice trim scheme that works well and ties that composition, ties that facade together nicely. It again provides an echo. By the way, this arched window here is exactly the same size as this arched window. So there's an element, again, there's a uniform element that's tying the two together, and of course they reflect the turret windows. Oh, and I see something I should do here. I'm going to pause the video. No, I'll go ahead and do it right now. This is my site model. I'll explain a bit of Sketchup here about how I use site models. I do the model for the house in a separate file, and I do all the work on the house in the separate file, and then I import it into a second model which contains all the site elements, because these site elements are very heavy in terms of computer usage, and at the same time I don't need them in my construction drawings, but I like to have them for doing these exterior views. So it makes sense to keep them in a separate model and then simply import the house model in here. So I'm going to show you a little trick about how I set that up, because what I've just noticed is that I failed to update this house model. The house exists in its own group here, concept model. You can see that in the upper right, concept model, and that's where I put my house file. So I'm going to double click into that group and I'm going to select the house. And if you look in the upper right at the entity info, it says component, one in model, and definition, and then the file name, and that's the file of my actual working model for the house. So I'm going to right click on the component, which is my house model, and I'm going to choose reload, and this is going to go back in. Do you want to replace it with a different file? Excuse me, I do. Reload, yes. Now it's kind of a weird instruction because I'm actually replacing it with the same file, but the same file has been further developed and saved again. So what I'm doing now is reconnecting to that original file. It'll take a minute here to read it, and it's bringing it in, and I'm reloading it because I had, since I did this, I had added mullions to all these windows. Okay, it has reloaded, and as you can see now, we've got the mullions in all the windows. So that's how the two files are interconnected. I just wanted to share that little bit of SketchUp wisdom with you. I can see that I've also got my grids on. These are my structural grids. You see these lines here. I use those in dimensioning the plans when I put them into the construction documents. I'm going to turn those tags off. Spur of the moment, I just decided I would go ahead and share with you a little bit about the next step, which I've actually started. We just were looking at the site model. So this is my project folder. This is my main model, Farmhouse #1. This is the right-hand version. I will do a mirror image of this when I'm finished with this one. And this is my site model, same title with site. And then up here we've got my layout file, my main layout file. There'll be two or three layout files with the various sheets, but this is the layout file that contains the floor plans, the sections, the elevations. And I've actually started putting things into the layout file. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly open that and give you a sneak peek at the construction drawings as I develop them in further videos. This is the main layout file. It's in the same folder as my model, as my main model file. If we go up to the File tab and look at Document Setup, under References we see the file listed here, FH01R1. I've also got a framing file that I have not yet started working on, but which is also linked into this layout. On the right here we have pages. I'm going to have a cover sheet which will include the perspective views and some thoughts on site planning, and then floor plan sheets, elevation sections, etc. We have this being the main floor plan sheet. First and second floors fit on one sheet here, so I'll go ahead and do them on the same sheet. We have the first floor on the right, second floor on the left. You will see the structural grid, which I use numbered 1 through 8, and going down the side we have the alphabet. That way every principal wall line, every structural wall line has a grid associated with it. I don't worry about little short wall sections like the wall separating the powder room from the closet. It does help with keeping the dimensions neater. Once the grid is dimensioned, it's the same grid on the second floor. No real need to repeat the dimensions if I don't want to. Got the room tabs in. I've got door and window symbols in place, but I haven't keyed them yet to the actual doors, so they're all just saying 01 or A. Upper floor, I have a sheet for the roof plan. And I may incorporate a few details into it or some schedules. I have a framing which I haven't started yet. Elevations. This is the elevation sheet. It's showing a little bit of color, and strictly speaking, a lot of building departments still only accept drawings that are in black and white. So what I can do is, I'm careful about the colors I choose. I can export this into a PDF format, and I can, in doing the export, I can do it in grayscale. So all of the colors will return to a grayscale, and there will be still the ability to differentiate the different materials, the shingle versus the siding, etc. We have the 4 main elevations on that sheet, and then we have 2 sheets with sections, whole building sections. There's the first sheet of sections. We have a section through the entrance and the living room, but seeing the outside face of the powder room, and that also passes through the turret, almost on the center point of the turret. You can see the change in the ceiling height of the master bedroom. I don't show, these sections are at 1/4 inch to the foot, so I don't show the framing in the section. I'll save that for framing details. The roof will probably be using prefabricated trusses that are made off-site, so I'm not going to show the pattern of the trusses. That would be for our truss manufacturer, but I do want to indicate to the truss manufacturer that there will be a certain amount of space unobstructed by truss cross members, truss diagonal members, so that there can be a little bit of attic storage and can get around up there. That's the first page of sections, and then on the second page of sections, I have them cut crosswise in the crosswise direction, perpendicular to this first set of sections. Here we have the second set of sections. One is cut through the garage and the bonus room. And then we step in a little further, and we're going through the staircase, and we see a bit of the kitchen, and we see the bedroom and one of the bedrooms in the landing on the upper floor. And then the third section again cuts through the master bedroom. We have the raised ceiling at the turret area. We have the bathroom and laundry and bedroom, and then on the ground floor, that section cut takes us through the whole suite of reception rooms: living room at the left, dining room in the middle, and family room on the right. That's a quick overview. I will be going in the next 2 videos into detail about how I set up my layout sheet and how I set up my layout sheets for linking to the model and getting all the details in there. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you have any questions or comments, please leave comments. I'm happy to address what I can. And do come back. I hope to see you all again. Bye-bye.